What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about the secret of ice cold confidence. And it can be easier than you think, but it's really important to actually look at the situation from a very broad perspective. It really isn't that it's an all or nothing game. It's not that some people are confident and others are not. It's not that it's about your looks, that's why you're confident, or you have all these things going for you, that's why you're confident. And if you're lacking these, you're not confident. Yes, there is some correlation to that, but it's never authentic confidence. Authentic confidence really comes from the inside because everything else can be taken away from you. Or if you, for example, think you have like these great looks and these are the things you built your confidence on, you know what's gonna happen? At some point, you're gonna realize it's not enough because nobody really cares about you for your looks. They just care about the image of you, but it's never about you. And sooner or later, you figure this out. And this goes for everything with the kind of money you have, with the kind of friends you have, all of this. None of this is authentic confidence because authentic confidence really comes from what you feel about yourself on the deepest level. And it's most importantly something that you keep building up. So stop thinking this is the one solution and then I'm going to be confident and everything else I'm not confident at all. We're gonna change that, and I really want to go into detail here because I think you can make huge differences in your life if you really start looking at it from this perspective. Before we get started, if you haven't seen it already, the bootcamp is going live February 29th. So if you've been thinking about working with me, now is the perfect time because specifically in January we have some great incentives. You find all the information in the link in the description. But so now back to confidence. So I have been somebody who always thought there is a confident person and there's a person who isn't confident. And I used to be somebody who wasn't confident. And then starting in my teenage years, I always had these phases where I thought I'm completely confident. There's nothing that could come my way and that can keep me off course. I really believed that for a long time because for the first time I actually was able to convince people in believing in me. And it was in situations where I wasn't really sure that this is gonna happen for me. You know, as a child, I really wasn't the person that everybody came to, that everybody thought was so cool. I mean, you see the things I talk about. I'm not like this average person that you see everywhere. And so this really played a role in all my interactions and also in the way I showed up. So if you see me now and you say, oh, there's no wonder she's confident, really believe me, it's actually the other way around. I come across the way I come across because I've been building on my self-confidence and not the other way around. And if you look at, for example, my first videos, this was a time where my confidence was super low because I learned at this point that I was building my self-confidence on things, on my looks, on just attributes that other people were seeing in me, and I was hiding what was most authentically me. I was hiding it, and every time I came close to somebody and I wanted to reveal that part that I was so ashamed of, you know, I really held that back. And it really caused me to make compromises in areas I shouldn't be compromising. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because this applies to everybody's life, and I'm completely convinced of that. You have to get to a point where you understand I'm not a confident person or somebody who's not confident. It really is just step by step. Because if you have a person who always says, oh, I'm super confident, there's nothing that can come my way, and I can't handle it, these people are stubborn. This is not real confidence because there's always something you cannot take on. You'll find people who barely make it by in their life, who really struggle, who have all these problems, and you still find some of them saying, I'm super confident, nothing can like really happen to me, I'm the coolest person alive, whatever it is. But you see that they are not willing to actually learn from mistakes. They're not willing to make compromises. They're not willing to look at themselves and reevaluate themselves because their ego is so fragile. This is not real confidence. And then you have people who say, I don't have any confidence, I really don't believe in myself, I don't think I look good, or people don't like me. But if you look at their lives, there are amazing things that they have accomplished so far. And all of it has to do with confidence. So I'm not saying the person who says I'm not confident is completely confident, is just lying to themselves. And I'm not saying the person that says I'm totally confident, but their life doesn't reflect that is the other way around. What I'm saying is that there are always layers. There are always ways where you can improve your self-confidence, and there are always layers of things that you're completely confident about. You just don't know it yet. And what I found, which has helped me immensely to improve my confidence, because this is where we all want to get to. We want to understand that it's all about improving confidence. Because if you do this, if you understand this concept, this is how it's going to help you. No matter where you're at right now in your, let's call it confidence game, or how confident you feel, you can improve that. In the situation continuation of both our examples, both of them can improve their self-confidence level. So the amazing thing here is that once you accept this, once you understand it's all about growth, there's nothing holding you back. So let's talk about what self-confidence is really about. I'm sure you've heard people say self-confidence is not about they're gonna like me, it's about I'm gonna be okay even if they don't. If you haven't heard this saying, let me just explain it a little bit. It really is that it's never about people are gonna like me no matter what. I'm just gonna go out there and it's gonna be perfect. It's saying that these are just the rules. This is how reality works, that some people are not gonna like you. And the more authentic you are, the more people are not gonna like you. This is the truth. But here's the difference. If you really are self-confident and you have accepted reality like this, you don't see it as something that only happens to you because there's something particularly bad about you. It just happens because this is how the world works. It really gives you an amazing amount of freedom. Because what is the difference between a person who has seen this and realized this from a person who still believes there's something wrong with me and I'm gonna stay where I'm at? The person who has accepted that people are not gonna like you, that it's just like a part of life, and that it has absolutely nothing to do with you because what they see in you says more about them than it says about you. That also goes from a positive perspective. If somebody really admires you and thinks you're so great, it still isn't about you. It's about what they see in you. And if you yourself don't like yourself, if you yourself don't love yourself, it really doesn't matter how many people tell you you're amazing. And if you really like and love yourself, and there are so many people around you who say, we really don't believe in you, this sucks, you're not gonna care. Of course, there are limits to this, but this is the concept that's really gonna make the difference, to understand that it's just about me. And the more responsibility I take on how I feel about myself, the less I'm looking on the outside and waiting for people to like me. Because very often this keeps us at the certain level of our life, and we keep playing this pattern over and over again because on some level we want that reassurance that we're good. And so many of those attributes that we actually are not self-confident about, we're not even aware of. And similarly, we're not aware of the things that we are confident about. So let's say somebody would come up to you and say, oh, you're just so selfish, you never do anything for other people, but you yourself know that you do. This is really not something that somebody can play with you with. You know that truth about you. This is like something that you're completely confident about, and it would really take a lot for somebody to convince you that you're a bad person, a bad friend, or that you're selfish. For me, that was actually a big problem. I was somebody who really didn't think that I was a good person for a long time. I overcompensated. I did so much for other people while they were not doing that for me, and I was blind to it. I really didn't understand that this was going on. And even if I felt, oh, I'm completely confident, I didn't understand that this is the area that's keeping me back the most. I was just confident about, oh, I have charisma, I go out, I can talk to people, and they trust me. But they trust me in the beginning, and they trust me because I played the game, because I know how to show up so people like me. I know how to engage. But it wasn't about me. It was just a skill I had learned. But there was still this thing that always held me back. And I knew that the moment I understood when somebody came into my life that made me feel like I was being selfish, like I was just thinking about myself, what did I do? I paddled back. I, from one second to the other, lost all my confidence. And situations like this give us a lot of insight. They make us understand that this particular part we're not willing to take responsibility for yet. So really understand the difference. If you believe about yourself, I'm really a good person, or I'm not being selfish, or you believe about yourself that you're a good soccer player, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Something that you really know about yourself, and if somebody comes your way, you're not gonna start questioning yourself. So let's say somebody would come up to you and say, you're not your nationality. Or they would say, this is not your mother, but you know very well this is your mother. First off, she just looks exactly like you. Second of all, you've been with her all your life. You're not gonna question yourself. You know, these are the things that we're confident about. And it's important to really understand that this goes for everything. I'm not giving examples here about things that are so true, like I know I'm confident that this is a cup. I'm saying this because it's just the same thing. And as soon as we understand it, that we are just as confident about this being a cup as we are about living our own truth and our authentic self, the easier it is to work on it. Because if something comes up into our life that makes us question us, so it means we're going in there and we think we know what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it, and then people start talking and they start giving you a different perspective of reality, which of course they're going to do because they're not you. So if they keep doing this, and this makes you question your own self, it makes you question if you are right, it makes you question if they are maybe right about their perspective. But what we do in this moment, once we understand that confidence is just about taking responsibility for our own decisions, is to understand that it's okay for that person to have that view on reality. It's completely okay for that person to think whatever it is about you. That doesn't mean that you have to believe it. If somebody, for example, thinks you're stupid and they tell it to your face and it really has an effect on you, then it's because you believe that about yourself on a certain level. At the same time, it could even be that you say, well, I don't believe I'm stupid, but you believe that you deserve to be surrounded by people who actually don't believe in you, who really ridicule you. This too is also a factor of self-confidence. Are you self-confident enough to say, if these people all don't like me, then I don't have to be around them? See, most of the time, we're so self-conscious about what we deserve that we surround ourselves with people that mirror back to us all our deepest fears. So I, for example, really surrounded myself with guys when I was in my 20s who were never able to give me what I want, what I need, what I deserve. But I did that. I stayed in those circles and I was always asking myself, why don't they realize how much value I have? Why don't they realize how much better I can make their life? If I would be on their team, their life would be fantastic. You know, they would see life from a completely different standpoint. I would have all that energy that I could put into this relationship and they couldn't see it. And my lack of self-confidence made me try to convince them over and over again that I'm a good person, that I deserve to be picked. And at that time, I actually thought I was confident. I really thought there was nothing holding me back because every time I met somebody, like most of the time people actually liked me, but they liked me before I started talking. They liked me before they actually understood how intense I am. They liked me before they understood how big of expectations I have of them. Because of course, I think I bring a lot to the table. I still think I have to give more than other people. Like that's how I was when in my 20s. You know, now I know better that it's a 50-50 situation. And if I have excess energy, I'm gonna put it into me, I'm gonna put it into my business, I'm gonna put it into my vocation, but I'm not gonna put more in the relationship than I'm getting back. But back then, I didn't understand it. I thought I was self-confident, but I was blind to the fact that I wasn't self-confident enough to understand that I'm wasting my time trying to convince people that I'm correct, that I'm a good person, that I'm fun, that I'm exciting, whatever it is. So how did it change? Well, it really comes back to this one thing. I had to take responsibility for the fact that I was allowing the situation, that I was still hanging around those people, because I thought if I remove them from my life, I don't have anything left. And I hear it over and over again, specifically from my clients. They say, if I stop talking to these people who treat me like this, then I'm gonna be completely alone. There's nobody left. But there's nobody left because you don't see the people yet who can give you what you want. Our boundaries are not intact yet. Because you know what happens? We all have that urge to reach out. We all have that urge to connect. So if you put up boundaries in the right places, that you say, I'm gonna set boundaries, I'm not gonna allow people into my life who make me feel like this, and if I have to stay alone, I will do this. I'll be okay with this. Because once you do this, you know what happens? Then automatically, because you have the urge to actually connect with other people, you're gonna reach out to people who actually can give you what you want. You find them in different places. It really is that you just close a window and then you see that there's another door somewhere else. But as long as you can go through that window and it always gets you only to the basement, you will never ever have the strength and the discipline to actually push yourself a little bit up. Say, I'm okay to stay in this house until I reach that door that's up there that will help me to actually connect with people who can give me exactly as much as I can give them. You know, this is really a big think. Because a lot of people think, yes, I'm closing the doors, I'm not gonna have these people in my life, but you're still dreaming about them. You're still hoping that something would show up instead of really taking the responsibility for yourself. And I'm not saying I wasn't somebody like this. I'm even sure I still do this to this day in certain areas because we all do it. I'm not that naive to think I'm this perfectly confident person and there's nothing I can learn. We can always learn. We can always take more responsibility for where we're at, where we want to be, and it really improves our life tremendously. It really is that you say, I take more responsibility about how I feel about myself. So I was always attracted to people who I felt have like this exciting life. And because I saw that they could do this for me, they could actually make me feel about my life that I have something exciting as long as I'm with them, I was willing to accept a lot of things that I shouldn't have. So now what do? I actually say, well, I want to feel that my life is exciting. So what do I have to do outside of these people that will make me feel like I have an exciting life? Well, maybe it is to step out of the norm. Maybe it is to start a channel. Maybe it is to actually show up for myself. And the moment I started this process, I understood how much of my self-confidence I really based on the fact how these people actually thought about me. Because the moment you take responsibility for your excitement or for your fun in your life or whatever it is that is important to you, that up until this point you've allowed other people to dictate if you are that or not. The moment you take responsibility for it, the people up until this point that sort of liked you, they're gonna go away. They're gonna like you even less. Up until this point, you try to make them like you, and the moment you take responsibility, you'll see they will like you even less because you're gonna be more authentic and you're not gonna need them. Because subconsciously, you make compromises in order for them to like you. Maybe it is that you dim your light, knowing and feeling that you can offer so much more than the other person, and trust me, most of the time you feel that, otherwise you wouldn't be giving more than the other person. So if you really know this about yourself, but you say, they can't see it, so I have to give more, I have to give more. You know what you're doing? You're actually telling that person, I believe I'm at your level. I believe I deserve you. But that person is not at your level. They cannot be. If they were at your level, they would be with you right now. It doesn't mean that they're worse people than you. It just means that they're not the right fit for you. Because right now, they're not giving you what you want. So many people say, oh, they're the perfect person for me. Have they really? Or is it just a fantasy? And this can be applied to absolutely everything. I just chose some examples about romantic relationships, but it's all about how you choose to live your life, how you allow your boss to talk to you, how you allow your parents to talk to you, how you allow others to treat you. It all has to do with self-confidence, and it will not come by you showing up in a way how others would like you more. Never ever is that the case. So the moment you really close that door, you really say, these are the boundaries that I'm setting for myself, you automatically are reaching for something else. The people that I talked about that I was always hanging around in my 20s, I was always the one reaching out to them. I was always the one who wanted to hang out with them, and I wanted them to like me, and I stopped doing that because I knew what they could give me, I can give to myself. I don't need them liking me in order to like myself. This is a huge game changer because no matter what you believe, self-confidence is not about being this image that everybody wants to see. It never is that way. The person who's really self-confident really shows up in the most authentic self, and you see that that person isn't the norm. They never are, because none of us is really the norm. Even people who look like exactly what society wants from them, even they are not like this, because we're all so unique. And the more we allow this uniqueness to shine through, the less we'll be the mainstream. And that's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You will actually shine from within in your own field, and you'll stay with that, and you show up again, and you share your message, the message of how you perceive life, of the things that you believe in, of your energy. You share that under your own circumstances. And as long as you're willing to take that step, you'll see how you'll gain self-confidence more and more. And with every time you close one more door on all the things that you allowed so far because you thought, I have to make compromise on my integrity. So now that we talked about what self-confidence is really about, and that it's never an all or nothing kind of game, ever, you can finally get to a point where you say, I'm going to be happy about the self-confidence I have today, and I'm going to improve on that. So really start start thinking about the things that you are self-confident about. What do you really believe about yourself? Do you believe that you can make sure that you have always enough money to pay your rent? Great! So many people don't even see that as something to be self-confident about, but there are a lot of people who don't have that confidence, who don't believe they can make it. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't believe I can make $10 million this year, and that's why I'm not gonna make them. If I actually believe this truly and deeply, I would be able to do this. I would find a way, and I'm completely convinced of that. So I don't take it as some lack in me. I don't see it as something I have to be ashamed of, that there are levels of self-confidence I haven't reached yet. I'm actually excited about the next step. I'm excited about every little step I take on. I'm happy I found self-confidence to start this channel. I'm happy I found self-confidence to quit my job 2 years ago. I'm happy I found self-confidence to actually start looking out for a partner who really fits me and not look in the same places I always used to look at. My partner is completely different than what I thought I want in my 20s. And it works because now I am aware of what I need, what I can give to myself, and what I really expect of my partner. And everybody who doesn't fit this criteria doesn't even have a chance of spending time with me, because I know exactly what I want, I know exactly what I need, and I go for it. But I go for it on this level. I know that there are always ways how I could improve my self-confidence. There are always ways where I could actually see how I could show up better than I have before, and really through that have better relationships, give more, be a better person on my own terms. And as long as I know this, I'm always ice cold confident, because I know that none of this is a reflection of my own self-worth. None of it. It's just a skill. It's just a way of us understanding that we've been projecting so far, and we take responsibility for it from now on. So it really isn't something that you should judge yourself for. It really is that you're just as valuable as any other person on this earth. There's not one reason why you're more valuable than somebody else. And I have people in my life who really believe they're worth more than other people, that they have accomplished so much more than other people, and they really see that as a reflection of their self-worth. And as long as you feel this, you're holding yourself back, because this will never give you true self-confidence. True self-confidence comes from I'm enough no matter what I do, no matter how I show up. And because I actually allow myself to see that, then I can take more and more responsibility of giving myself this good feeling that I want. And it will be more and more on my terms the less I expect other people to do it. It will be more through my filter, and this will be reflected back into your life. Allow yourself to grow and stop judging yourself. That is the biggest lesson here. I really hope that helped you. Let me know if you have any questions. If you haven't done so already, check out the bootcamp. Whoever wants to work with me, this is going to be an exciting time. So now is the moment to actually go for it. And if you want to watch another video now that is in line with today's topic, watch my video on how to get the respect you deserve. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.